something has just happened that no Prime Minister ever wants to face. On the very morning his party conference begins, Keir Starmer has been hit with news so catastrophic, so unprecedented that it could define his entire premiership. The numbers are in and they are worse than anything we've ever seen before. Let's break it down. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Keir Starmer has just been handed what could be the most devastating political blow of his premiership, and it comes at the worst possible time. Writers' Labour's party conference gets underway. A brand new Ipsos poll has revealed that Starmer is now officially the least popular Prime Minister since records began. The figures are so bleak, so unprecedented that they place him below even Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak, Gordon Brown, and yes, even John Major during the dog days of the 1990s. Let's break down the numbers. According to Ipsos, only 13% of Britons say they are satisfied with the way Keir Starmer is doing his job. That's down 6 points since June. Meanwhile, a staggering 79% say they are dissatisfied. Put together, this gives him a net satisfaction rating of -66, the lowest score of any Prime Minister on record since 1977. To put that in perspective, Rishi Sunak's lowest was 59. Liz Truss bottomed out at -51. Boris Johnson reached -46. Theresa May sank to 44. Even Margaret Thatcher, who left office amidst bitter divisions, scored -56 at her lowest. But Starmer has gone one step further, plunging beneath them all, leaving him with the unenviable record of the most unpopular Prime Minister in modern British history. And the bad news doesn't stop there. The same poll also revealed that Rachel Reeves, his Chancellor, is now the least popular Chancellor on record. Taken together, this is a brutal indictment of the Labour leadership as they prepare to rally their troops in Liverpool. Gideon Skinner, senior director at Ipsos, explained what this means. Labour isn't just losing support because of one or two bad headlines. Their problems are structural. They're losing votes on the left. They're losing votes on the right. And the British public remain deeply pessimistic about the economy, immigration, and the state of public services. Starmer had promised a relaunch focused on delivery, but the public simply isn't buying it. And into this vacuum steps Nigel Farage. Reform UK, which just a year ago held a handful of seats, is now surging to record-breaking levels. Ipsos puts them at 34% of the vote. Labour, by contrast, has collapsed to just 22%, its lowest share in an Ipsos poll since 2009. And the Conservatives, they're languishing on a humiliating 14%, hemorrhaging voters to reform at a rate never seen before. In fact, Ipsos found that 39% of 2024 Conservative voters would now back reform. That's devastating for Kem Baddock, who is struggling to hold together a party that many already believe is finished. Reform, meanwhile, is holding on to nearly 90% of its voter base. Proof that Farage supporters are loyal and locked in. The pollster even noted that while the public has doubts about all political leaders, Farage is viewed as the most capable candidate for Prime Minister, and it's not just Ipsos. A huge YouGov poll taken over the past 3 weeks with more than 13,000 respondents found that if a general election were held today, Reform would win all but 15 seats needed for a parliamentary majority. That would mean gains of over 300 seats, the biggest electoral leap in British history. So, how does Keir Starmer respond to this nightmare scenario publicly with bravado? Speaking ahead of the conference, he insisted that Labour can fight off reform. He called it, quote, the fight of our times, urging Labour members not to waste time on navel-gazing, but to unite against what he described as the division reform would bring to Britain. But here's the problem. Starmer's words sound increasingly hollow. When nearly 80% of the country is dissatisfied with your leadership, when your Chancellor is historically unpopular, and when the opposition is eating away at both your left and right flank, no amount of conference slogans or stage-managed speeches can disguise the collapse of trust. The truth is simple. Britain is restless. Voters are tired of being ignored on immigration, on the cost of living, on public services, and on the sheer sense that the country has been allowed to drift. Farage's message of change, however you feel about him, is cutting through in a way Labour simply cannot match. So as Starmer walks onto the stage in Liverpool, he faces not just a hostile electorate, but the very real possibility that history will judge him as a Prime Minister who squandered his moment, who failed to deliver, and who became the most unpopular leader the country has ever seen. This isn't just a bad poll, it's a political earthquake, and it could be the beginning of the end for Keir Starmer's premiership. A notice published by Enfield Council in August said it had received a complaint that Councillor Islam may have brought his office into disrepute by using the office of the mayor to support visa applications for his friends and family. It said this was contrary to the advice of officers and for reasons not connected with the borough. The notice read, "The committee found that Councillor Islam's improper use of his position and the council's resources to advance personal and private interests, particularly given his roles as deputy mayor and then mayor, was damaging to the confidence of the public in Councillor Islam himself and councillors more generally and brought the council and the role of councillors into disrepute." The Conduct Committee concluded the committee directed Councillor Islam Visa not to use his position as a councillor to support applications or similar nor to seek to confer any other advantage or disadvantage on any applications or similar nor to seek to confer any other advantage or disadvantage on any friends, family or associates. Councillor Islam was required to undergo further training on the Code of Conduct, issue an apology and not wear his past mayor's badge again. Speaking to The Telegraph, Councillor Islam, who is now an independent councillor, stood firm that he had done nothing wrong. A Home Office spokesman said, "It would be inappropriate to comment on an active investigation, but all allegations of immigration crime are thoroughly investigated. An appropriate action is taken where necessary." An Enfield Council spokesman said the local authority was in correspondence with Mr. for Islam to ensure he obeys sanctions, adding that it fully supports the conclusions of the Conduct Committee that he had brought his office into disrepute. The spokesman continued, "We expect the highest level of standards and conduct from councillors. We are satisfied that the committee review has addressed the concerns raised about Mr. Islam's conduct following the thorough and comprehensive investigation undertaken." Upon being elected as mayor of Enfield last year, Councillor Islam said, "It is an honor and privilege to have been elected as mayor of Enfield for the forthcoming year. Our bureau is diverse and welcoming, and I am looking forward to promoting what makes Enfield great." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you have not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you.